And that is why Ireland will, in the coming weeks, formally recognise the State of Palestine. I repeat, in the coming weeks, we will formally recognise the State of Palestine.
Good morning all. Delighted to be joined here by the Taoiseach and Minister Ryan. Last month I stood on these same steps with Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain, and we said that the point of recognising the State of Palestine was coming closer. That point has now arrived. Today, Ireland, Norway and Spain are announcing that we recognise the State of Palestine.
Hello, so finally Ireland has fulfilled its commitment. Remember a few days ago, Irish ambassador in the United Nations making passionate speech in support of Palestine? And in that speech, the Irish ambassador had promised that in days to come, Ireland will announce the recognition of the State of Palestine.
And that is why Ireland will, in the coming weeks, formally recognise the State of Palestine. I repeat, in the coming weeks, we will formally recognise the State of Palestine.
Ireland has exactly done that today. As we heard from Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris, that Ireland joins the countries like Norway and Spain to formally recognise the independent state of Palestine. So well done, Ireland. This is what Simon Harris had to say.
Good morning all. Delighted to be joined here by the Taoiseach and Minister Ryan. Last month I stood on these same steps with Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain, and we said that the point of recognising the State of Palestine was coming closer. That point has now arrived. Today, Ireland, Norway and Spain are announcing that we recognise the State of Palestine.
Now, Simon Harris followed it up with another statement from his social media handles where he explains why Ireland recognizes Palestine and why it's in the interest of Israel and Israeli people to stop this genocide, to stop the madness that Netanyahu and his gang have launched in Gaza. Rightly say, it is sheer madness. It is to fulfill the political goal of the war criminal called Benjamin Netanyahu. So, well done, Ireland. This is what Simon Harris had to say from his social media handle, explaining the reason why Ireland decided to recognize Palestine.
On the 21st of January 1919, Ireland asked the world to recognise our right to be an independent state. Our message to the free nations of the world was a plea for international recognition of our independence, emphasising our distinct national identity, our historical struggle, and our right to self-determination and justice. Today, we use the same language to support the recognition of Palestine as a state. We do so because we believe in freedom and justice as the fundamental principles of international law, and because we believe that permanent peace can only be secured on the basis of the free will of a free people. The people of Palestine deserve a future filled with hope, a future defined by success instead of suffering, a future at peace. The people of Israel deserve the exact same thing. To the people of Israel, I say today, Ireland is resolute and unequivocal in fully recognising the State of Israel and Israel's right to exist securely and in peace with its neighbours. The actions of Hamas on October 7th were the epitome of evil. Let me be clear, Ireland condemns the barbaric massacre carried out by Hamas on that day. Civilians attacked and murdered, hostages taken in the most brutal and terrifying of circumstances, including a young Israeli-Irish child. We call again for all hostages to be immediately returned to the arms of their loved ones. Let me also be clear, Hamas is not the Palestinian people. Palestinians in Gaza are enduring the most appalling suffering and hardship and starvation. It must stop. The humanitarian catastrophe that is unfolding needs to end. Can anyone justify children going to sleep at night not knowing if they will wake up? Today, we take a significant political step. There will be reaction and there will be interpretations of its implications, but let us never lose sight of this fundamental truth. Children are innocent. The children of Israel, the children of Palestine, they deserve peace. It is long past time for a ceasefire, for the unconditional release of hostages, for unhindered access for humanitarian aid. There should be no further military incursion into Rafah. There should be no more Hamas or Hezbollah rockets fired at Israel. Civilians on all sides must be protected under international humanitarian law. Today's decision to recognise Palestine is taken to help create a peaceful future, because a two-state solution is the only way out of the generational cycles of violence, retaliation, resentment, hatred, where so many wrongs can never make a right. Just as Ireland's recognition as a state eventually led to the establishment of our now peaceful republic, we believe that Palestinian statehood will contribute to peace and to reconciliation in the Middle East. A peace that honours the legitimate aspirations of all people in the region to live with respect, justice, security and dignity, free from violence or the threat of violence. Today, moving in lockstep with other European colleagues, we seek to be bearers of hope. We want to reaffirm our belief that peace is possible, that justice is achievable, and that the recognition of both states, Palestine and Israel, is the cornerstone on which that peace must be built.
Then Irish Foreign Minister issued this statement.
Today, the government announces its decision to recognise the State of Palestine on the 28th of May. This delivers on our commitment set out in the programme for government. The Palestinian people's right to self-determination, peace, dignity and statehood must be vindicated. It is our conviction that the two-state solution remains the only viable option to secure a just and lasting peace that fulfills these rights for both Israelis and Palestinians alike. It is past time for Palestine to take its place amongst the nations of the world. On our televisions and phones, we witness daily the dire humanitarian crisis facing the Palestinian people. Only a political track can deliver a permanent end to the violence. Today, we state clearly our unambiguous support for the equal right to security, dignity and self-determination for the Palestinian and Israeli peoples.
Now, as you would expect, because Israel has been a pampered child, nobody can anger Israel because nobody wanted to be called anti-Semitic or against Jews. So what happens? On these occasions also, Israelis have behaved exactly the same fashion. They have withdrawn their ambassador from Ireland, saying that Ireland's action has endangered the sovereignty of Israel. Really? Really? Dear Israeli government, the sooner you realize that you are gonna get increasingly isolated in the world because of your genocidal action in Gaza, the better it will be. I don't think the world has got any more appetite to tolerate your tantrums. In fact, your leaders should be in jail. Everybody who has had anything to do with what is happening in Gaza, whether the military personnel, the political leadership, military leadership, spokespersons, their extended spokespersons in different countries like the UK and the USA and the EU and Canada and Australia, all those individuals, and I'm talking about all those individuals beyond Israel, need to face the full force of International Criminal Court. The brutal murder and massacre of 40,000 Palestinians and counting cannot go in vain and must not go in vain. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.